It's the end of February 2024 and I'm back at Cessnock Local Court. We haven't had any big fires over the past month. However, I note on this day when I'm in Cessnock, Victoria are actually evacuating people as they're in the middle of a heat wave and have out of control bushfires. Today at Cessnock, I'm here for Chris's case. Chris is seeking a plea reversal. Remember, I waited around all day back in January and it ended up getting adjourned. So it's supposed to happen today. By the way, it's 141 days since Chris was arrested, which was about 7 days after the alleged bushfire. Court starts at 9:30. I'm about 15 minutes late. However, I know it's unlikely to be first up. There are already well-dressed solicitors walking away from court, having completed their matters. The sheriff at the door questions why I'm here. He scans me for weapons and looks in my bag. I say I'm just observing. Just a refresher, anyone can sit in the gallery and listen. Don't be put off if you get questioned. The person is just doing their job. It's okay to be here. Later, when I'm sitting in the gallery, I get asked which case I'm here for by a court officer. Honestly, when you're the only one in the gallery, basically they're saying your case can be next since you're here and ready. They accept I'm just observing. I can't see Chris, but I'm assuming he's in the waiting room next to the court having a conference with his solicitor. As I've said before, it's common for defendants to meet with their solicitors before coming to the courtroom. There are 90 matters listed today in Cessnock. So for the next 2 hours while I wait for Chris's case, I listen to the other cases. If I could say one thing, please, one crime at a time. If you decide to do a crime, please wait until the sentencing is complete before doing the next crime. Today, the majority is just a jigsaw puzzle of reoffending. The court has a huge list and spends most of the time doing case management, meaning finding all the charges as some defendants have reoffended between court dates. Some defendants have offended while on a community corrections order, so the court wants to resentence. One has breached an AVO again, so it has now become a fresh custody case, meaning the police have refused bail either last night or this morning, so the defendant is sitting in a cell next door in the police station and needs to come to court. So they've got to walk him from the police station into the courthouse. They keep the cases rolling while they wait for the police to bring him into the courtroom. Midway through a case, they stop and everyone shuffles around so the defendant can be led into the dock, flanked by 2 police officers and a sheriff who then stand guard. The other sheriff with the scanner is still working the front door. The defendant is about 30 years old, he's in footy shorts and thongs and he's handcuffed. His feet aren't shackled. So the situation is he's breached the AVO, which protects his loved one or ex-loved one. I'm not sure, only that they share children. The AVO still allows the defendant to contact the protected person because of the children, and the court seems to have exhausted any other types of conditions. Basically, most of the discussion is about trying to mitigate the risk to the safety of the protected person when they have used all the available conditions. Really, it's jail that's the only thing that's left. In the end, they put the same conditions on as was before and he's released. He's marched back to the police station, and in the meantime, the gallery can hear the conversation about who's going to ring his mum to get her to come and pick him up. Another re-offending defendant. This one is all about stolen goods. He's older and has a lengthy criminal history according to the court. Today was about 2 stolen number plates. There is an existing community corrections order for common assault, and the previous stolen goods involved stealing door locks from a large hardware store, the type of hardware store that has barbecues out the front. I ask again, one crime at a time for all of us in the gallery trying to keep up. Then there's a guy who has multiple matters and I have no idea what types of crimes they are. Court is just madly going through logistics. First, he is in custody, but he's not bail refused. Remember, when you're charged, you can have no bail and be at liberty. You can be granted bail and be at liberty, or refuse bail and therefore you go into custody. He's in custody, but not bail refused. There's a very small pause as everyone wraps their head around not bail refused. By the way, this won't be explained if you're in the gallery. You have to work it out yourself. Not bail refused because he's doing a jail sentence. Bail won't be discussed if you're already doing time. Yep, he's doing a jail sentence, and Cessnock Local Court are setting a date for sentencing this matter, which is going to happen on the same day as Newcastle Local Court will sentence for another matter. They've seemed to figure out how the defence solicitor is going to be in 2 courts at the same time, and of course the defendant will appear via video from jail. They will just beam him into whichever court. The remaining issue is which court is going to do the resentencing, as the offence occurred while there was an existing order in place. Then the court warns they will close the court soon to hear 2 cases just before morning tea. One case involves a serious allegation where children are involved. The second case involves a defendant who allegedly committed an offence days before their 18th birthday. They are an adult now, however the case needs to be heard in the children's court because he allegedly did the offence as a child. Just before the court is closed, they run through some logistics for cases next on the list. Chris's case is mentioned. The court is reminded it's a plea reversal and will take a little bit of time. Remember, the bushfire offence is one of the multiple charges Chris has. It looks like the reversal might be for larceny or goods in custody, basically the charges that are related to stealing. The magistrate, who looks like he needs more hours in the day, says it probably isn't going to happen until after lunch, which means after 2 p.m. Court is closed and everyone from the gallery must go outside. I decide to leave. I don't have time to hang around like I did in January. I'm just going to have to follow it up later. I did ask in the court office for an update on David's case. I noticed Chris and David's case have drifted away from each other in the court lists. They are now being heard on different days. I wonder if the court will bring them back together as they are co-accused. Honestly, I feel like both these cases are drifting to a huge pile of cases. It's like they are just a number now. If you walked into court today and started listening to this case, you probably wouldn't know that an emergency level bushfire occurred as a result of this alleged offence. Anyways, David's case continues to be mentioned every 2 weeks or so. There was one last week, which I missed, and then there's another mention next week. I risk missing information by not going to court, but I'm just one person and I can't sustain going to court for hours only to find out that the case is adjourned again. Both Chris and David's cases are at the point where a hearing date needs to be set. I can find the date by asking at the court office. I will keep you posted.